got all three of our final and finished scarves here. So the first one is the one we did with the braid, and then this is the one that we did with just the unprocessed fiber, and then this is the one we made with the bat. So three very different results from different kinds of fiber prep. So this one was a merino bamboo blend, something you could probably find from Ashland Bay, that I dyed first, and then we have what we made into a cobweb scarf. And just a quick overview, all three of these underwent the same process where I wet it down and put it in the dryer for 10 to 20 minute intervals based on how things were progressing, and then they all underwent the fulling process where you would throw it down on the towel, and then afterwards with the bubble wrap, and then the washing in the alternating of cold and hot water, and then I just pressed the water out of these and let them hang to dry. So all three of them, exact same method. Obviously something different with the braid is it's a much lighter feel, and it's much more narrower because you are limited to the density of the roving that you use, or the comb top that you use. But it's a very beautiful result. I love the cobwebbing that happens with the bamboo mixed in, and it's a very, very delicate but strong sort of scarf. So this is a very nice result. The second one that we did was with the unprocessed fiber. So this one was alpaca, and I used two different kinds of alpaca. Like, they were both Wakaya, but the gray was probably a little bit of a higher micron than the white, and I would say that they both actually felted about the same. The gray may have actually felted slightly better than the white. Now, obviously, some of the challenges we came up with this one is that the alpaca wasn't wanting to felt, and so we ended up with more of these little holes and whatnot, so it took a lot longer to get it to a point where I felt it was strong enough. Obviously, I'll have some examples of some other ones that I've done with just unprocessed wash fleece and whatnot, but this is a very fun effect if you like something that's a little bit more wild. There's some alpaca that does felt better, but I find it's kind of a hit and miss thing. You know, the moment you throw it in a pot to dye it, it'll felt like that, but as soon as you want to felt it, that's when things get more difficult. So I think overall, this probably had anywhere from 40 minutes to an hour in the dryer, plus probably an extra 20 minutes of me fulling it and hand felting it. So a very beautiful result, but definitely needing a little bit more arm work. So then the third one is the one that we made with a bat, and we had tried putting some kind of a string embellishment on it, but the one side got bunched up when we first put it in the dryer, so that side didn't stick as well. So we took that part off, but these other parts in here that were original to the bat stuck in there very well. So even like the Angelina generally, Angelina does not felt, but like because it got trapped in with all these other fibers, it's still in there. Our corn fiber is still in there. The locks are still in there. The locks are nice and sturdy. So this one I really, really like. I like processing my fiber into bats and then using bats to make the felted scarves, because you get so much character from the bat and all the different fibers that are mixing together and whatnot. So this had about 4 layers of fiber that was crisscrossed. So this one, we ended up with no holes, and we have a very nice basic base on the back. So I really, really like processing with bats and whatnot. So I'll show you just some examples of ones that I've done in the past. So I have a few, and this was one that I did just with unprocessed fiber, just straight up fleece. This one shrunk quite a bit from its original state. And then I had some sari silk in here, and since the sari silk doesn't normally felt, I had to trap it in with just some alpaca. I had some alpaca roving that I felted over top of it, and it stayed in very well. But you can see, so I added some locks into this one, and the back side is where I didn't add any embellishments, and you can really see that watercolor kind of effect when you have the unprocessed fiber, especially when it's dyed. When it's dyed, you get some very beautiful variations of color. And then this too was also done with unprocessed. So both of these ended up to be more cobweb scarves. So I intentionally put some holes in this one, but it wanted to be a little bit more solid. Now the fun part is you can actually take these, you can make them white at the beginning and then throw these in a dye pot and see what kind of fun effects you can get with that. This is the same material. These were both a base of Polworth wool. This one was also Polworth, but this one was made with a bat. So process first into a bat, and then very nice for a solid effect. And then these next two I have were also processed from a bat. I actually got two scarves out of this one bat. These are BFL and Merino. And then I also have some Firestar in here as well. Firestar and Bamboo. And these are a little bit lighter, and I think that's just the character of the particular BFL fleece that I got. So each one is a little bit different. And I got some nice cobwebbing in this one, and like this was one of my all-time favorite bats. I have a Fancy Kitty drum carder that's an extra wide, and so I can make some pretty big bats with that one. And so I got two scarves out of this one, and this is the exact same kind of scarf, but the difference with this one, so I didn't have as much cobwebbing with this one, and I embellished it with a little bit more of, it was just some roving that I had. I don't exactly know what kind of roving it was just kind of sitting in my stash, so I tried it, and I kind of liked the effect from it. So those two were made from bats. And then if you want to work on a bigger scale, you can absolutely do that. So this is a rug that was done using the exact same method, except for I had to hand roll this one since this couldn't fit in my dryer. But this was a bunch of waste alpaca and waste wool, and you can see how the alpaca didn't felt as well as much as you would see the wool underneath. The wool underneath felted extremely well. So this one, I ended up just doing like a quilting stitch, just to kind of lock it all down. So there's so many options that you can do with this method of wet felting, and you can do several different sizes, several different styles. It's really up to your imagination and your preferences. So just go try a bunch of stuff, and then let us know what kind of results you get. Hey Fibernatics, thank you so much for joining us for our very first mini course, learning how to wet felt a scarf. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, and check us out on YouTube for more free tutorials, and check us out on Facebook. We have an awesome community of fiber artists there called Feathertail Fibernatics. And also check us out on Instagram, check out our website. We have a ton of new stuff coming up, so if you really want to be in on everything, go ahead and subscribe to our email list. You'll be the first one to find out about exclusive discounts and all of our brand new products that we're designing specifically for you Fibernatics. So love to see you there, and thanks again.